Morning, afternoon, or evening, everyone. My name is Shockwave, and this is a very exciting time for the Splatoon community. With Splatoon 3 getting announced in the last couple of days, a lot of people are returning back to the game. A lot of people are grinding out this game for the rest of the year. So very exciting time. Everyone's already done analysis videos. Not many people have dived into their hopes or kind of like what they don't want to see in Splatoon 3. So today, in this video, I'm going to be listing 5 of my hopes for Splatoon 3. So I'm going to be diving into those today, and obviously, as always, if you have any questions, join my Discord server, open to anyone. Of course, we have some good chats about the game, builds, whatnot, and I stream every Tuesday, Thursday, and Sunday. Again, I'll put links to all that in the description below, but yeah, today we're just going to jump straight into this with my top 5 hopes for Splatoon 3. Alright, to start off with will be a better ranking system. This is the first one, and what I mean by this is a better condensed ranking system. So you have like X rank, you have S, A, B, C, all the way down to there. But that's only about 5 different like categories you can be put in. So like for at least towards the top end, I think we need to keep it more condensed. So because in X rank it's such a large category that basically you can get into X rank just by continuously playing the game, and you'll eventually get into X rank. That's how I see it. So when you're in X rank, if you're in top 500 to say, you can play someone that's like at the very bottom of X rank. They might have like a 1900 or 2000 power, and I don't see that as a fair balance with such a big skill difference right there. So what I'm suggesting is that they keep the top 1000 or top 2000 system, but you can only play people within that group. So if you're in the top 2000, then you play against people within the top 2000, within that mode obviously, and again I'll get into that in a second with the modes and whatnot. But yeah, I think this is how it should be implemented in Splatoon 3, and then you might have another category, maybe they'll call it like Platinum or something like that, and another one for lower like X rank, as what it's been in Splatoon 2. So I think this will just help divide this big group of players that are just sitting in X rank, because within X rank there's such a large skill gap, if you know what I'm saying. So dividing that into like the top players, top 2000, top 1000, whatever it may be, and then like a platinum, then like a gold, and then you go like S plus, S, A, B, C, all the way down. That'll just make it so it's divided better and everyone stays within their skill gap. Alright, the next thing would be having a training room in a private battle. So just like what you have a training room with all the dummies in front of you, this could be like a condensed version just for in the private battle, so it doesn't take up too much of the switch's like hardware while it's trying to load the private battle in the background while you're in the training room kind of thing. It can just be like a small room, like just a little bit on the right side of the training room where you spawn in there. But yeah, this could really help, at least if you have to jump straight into a private battle and you want to warm up, you want to test something kind of thing, and while you're doing something in the spare time, because a lot of the time you're waiting for the last person to join your room and you're kind of sitting there not doing anything. So this would be just a good quality of life thing to implement into Splatoon 3, and yeah, it shouldn't really be too much strain on the Switch's hardware. It should just be an easy thing to implement, and just a good quality of life thing for all players. If you're playing casually while you're just waiting, you can just hop in the training room, hit some dummies, whatnot, play around with different weapons, all that. Alright, my third thing here is going to be a new ranked mode. Obviously, from Splatoon 1 to Splatoon 2, we had Clan Blitz. That was kind of it. I'm hoping they would maybe bring 2 modes. That's being a little bit optimistic there, but I'm really hoping they'll implement some new modes, even if they don't bring one back from Splatoon 2, whether that's, I don't know, Rainmaker or Clams, probably one of those 2 I would assume would go, if any do go at all. But having a new ranked mode or 2 would really help keep things interesting, at least in the competitive scene for Splatoon 2. Being able to just rethink the whole game as it is, like through a different mode, like with Clan Blitz, that kind of made everyone rethink most of the game's mechanics and how it worked, like completely with how the clams worked and all that, because that can get a little bit complicated and people eventually learn to work around that. So having new modes, obviously right now I don't have any ideas, I haven't thought about that enough to give like an example of a new mode, but I might make that in a video in the future. Let me know if you want me to make that a video in the future, just having some ideas thrown out there of what a new mode could look like. But yeah, that's just something I would like to see, and not just the stock standard zones, tower control, Rainmaker, Clan Blitz back again. Obviously it'd be good for them to be back, but we really need something new in Splatoon 3 to basically just keep the ball rolling here. You need new modes, you need new weapons, need new everything to keep a game growing continuously. Alright, for number 4, going off the back of what I just said with ranked and everything like that, I want no more ranked rotations. This kind of idea, in theory, sounds okay and good to try out, but I think at this point in time, it's just like, no. And this kind of go back to the better ranking system, where these groups could almost be like too small if you not gonna have ranked rotations, and you can pick and choose what mode you might want to play. Or it's kind of like you go into ranked, it cycles through the modes, and then you kind of get to vote on a map, something like that. Or there's like a certain few maps for those, like maybe a group of 5 maps for like an hour or so, and it just rotates through the different modes, if that makes sense. This would just keep everything like not stale for the whole time, so you're not just continuously playing the same mode and the same 2 maps for 2 hours straight, because that can get really boring. Not gonna lie, I've done that a lot myself, just sitting there for a full 2 hours playing the rotation, just playing the same map over and over and over, because sometimes you get really unlucky and you might play one of the maps for like 45 minutes to an hour, and it just gets really stale throughout that whole hour of playing ranked. So I would definitely like to see this change, at least having like 5 different modes, keep the rotations to like an hour if they get to stick with that. But I would really like to see them like either cycle through modes, or you get to pick what mode you get to play, and then obviously voting on maps, or having a cycle again of 5 maps that you could go through, and maybe you could vote on the maps. If there's like a map pool of 5 for like an hour, you could vote on the map you want to see. Alright, for my 5th and final one, again this comes off the back of the 2 previous points or hopes that I brought up, is to be able to change your weapon in the lobby when you're playing ranked. And what I mean by this is when the map and mode is selected, like just say they keep the same 2 maps for 2 hours. Just say the map gets picked, everyone's in the lobby, you get like 60 seconds to like figure out what your team's comp's gonna be. So you go in like a little private battle room, like what you do when you make a private battle, and you get to like change your weapons out, because sometimes you might get like a really big map like New Albacore Hotel, and you might get a really small map like Mako Mart, for example. Obviously longer range weapons are going to work much better on Albacore than they are on Mako Mart. So being able to exchange your weapons, exchange your gear, whatnot, to accommodate for what map it is, would really be helpful, especially when you're getting to the top end of ranked and you don't have a really short range weapon on a map like Albacore, and you're not going to be able to play at your best, because the map it's basically just made for backlines and long range weapons. So having this, I know a lot of people have said this, but I want to reiterate this point again, that this needs to be implemented, especially if they're, what I said in the last point, if they're going to go for a map pool rotation of like 5 maps, because you could have a whole bunch of different maps that work for like 3 or 4 of your weapons that you play, but you have to gamble on one weapon that you play that might work on like 2 or 3 of the maps, and you might end up playing the other 2 maps that don't work well for that weapon. I'm hoping this all makes sense, that this is basically, these 5 hopes are just for like competitive, like ranked, and like when you're playing scrims and tournaments and whatnot, like warm up, and just having a better ranking system in Splatoon 3. Again, I'll probably make another video like this, but around like the whole game in general, like single player, maybe salmon run, like just basic turf war stuff and whatnot, but this is basically like the ranked version of like my top 5 hopes for Splatoon 3. Yeah, that pretty much covers everything. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, give it a thumbs up, subscribe, all that good stuff. And again, if you have any questions, I've got a Discord server, link in the description below, and I stream every Tuesday, Thursday, and Sunday. So yeah, have a good morning, afternoon, evening, and I'll catch you all in the next video.